O ye of little faith. If you rely on Richard Hart's Twitter for something to believe in, you are actually the weakest link in the pulse of chains. PulseChain, as Ivan calls it. I gotta repeat, if you're relying on the words of one man, you are the weakest link. You are the weakest part of the chain. Because men come and go, friends. Ideas stay forever. The spirit stays forever. Someone's Twitter, if you're relying on that for everything, okay, I got a news flash for you. Sometimes people get bored. Sometimes people change their mind. Sometimes people take a holiday. Sometimes people have kids. Sometimes people get sick. Many things to factor in and consider, all right? Here's Richard Hart, Studio Ghibli version with his package down here. Hopefully we got a rescue package for the pulse of change. So even Richard knows that, okay? So if I even bring up his Twitteroonies right here, if this is your gospel, now it's a great source of information. If this is your gospel though, I would just like to show you something, okay? That is a gospel. There might be another one. Very controversial. Just like, which Pokemon do you start with? Okay. So, Richard now also may or may not speak on the blockchain. It's become a funny meme. They're like, oh, he's speaking on the blockchain. But when I hear that, man, I get really, really bullish. Because, you know, people said the same thing to FUD Bitcoin. You know that? Back in the early days. Go check the forums. They go, oh, you just think this code is just going to like be a price performer to the upside. They're talking about the Bitcoin halvening. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You've never seen anything like that before. They're like, oh, you just trust this random website? How do you know there isn't any extra coins? Friends, you got to understand maximum uncertainty in the beginning of Bitcoin. Do you know that? Do you know what maximum uncertainty is, friends? Okay. This is more uncertain than one of the wokies who can't decide if they're going to wake up as a man or a woman tomorrow. It's way more uncertain than that. Okay. Because this is Bitcoin in the early days. Okay. And everyone's like, oh, it was easy. It was easy. Friends, I'm gonna mark something on here just so you know, because it's very relevant. Right there, Satoshi leaves. And I'm going to put, friends, a full stop, okay? Satoshi leaves. And I should probably have the door emoji as well. He literally walks out the door, okay? Just so you know. Satoshi left, I think it was like beginning of 2011, 60 cents. So you want to talk about uncertainty. You've literally never seen anything like this before, okay? It's this weird thing that's created on the internet. You don't know what store of value and all these other stuff is, okay, if you're early. You have no idea what the hell a halvening is because price could crash and the price could halve. You have no idea. What's this block explorer like? How do you even know the website's real? How do you know there aren't extra coins? How do you know even the blockchain's working? How do you know there isn't like 15,000 chains out there on everybody's computer database? You have no idea, man. You've never seen anything like that. Only a couple of people could read the code, and guess what? They haven't used their Willy in like 3.5 years. You got Andreas Antonopoulos, you had Da Vinci back then. No one knows what the hell is going on. I've literally never seen anything like it. That was the maximum price pump. Whee! 4,700x. 2 cycles, okay? Pretty cool. So, oh ye of little faith. That's what I'm here to tell you, friends. You have no faith? Okay, Spoonie's going to have a word with you, all right? Spoonie is going to have a word with you. It's always been about faith. There's always a level of trust. You say, oh no, I hold Bitcoin now. Shut up. You're trusting Brian Boldstrong doesn't dump $1.1 million, 1.1 million Bitcoin, which is what Coinbase has. Yeah? You're trusting Michael Chad Saylor doesn't dump his 499,000 BTC. You are trusting Roca Negra not to overtake it. There's trust everywhere, dude. By the way, you're also trusting Satoshi not to come back and dump his 1 million BTC. You're trusting that too. There's a level of risk with everything. And that's today, by the way. Very interesting, isn't it? You can go down the line, every coin, okay? Every coin. Everything's got risk, okay? Oh, you're holding Tesla? You're trusting Elon Musk is still alive in a couple of years. You're trusting Elon Musk has stopped at kid number 13 and he doesn't want to go to kid number 48. There's trust everywhere, man. Richard Hart knows if you're going to his Twitter for the gospel word, it's good, it's useful, it ain't everything. You are literally the weakest link. Let me continue. If Richard leaves tomorrow, you leave. You stand for nothing but the words of one man. If you're here, you're just looking at his Twitter, he walks away, you walk away. By the way, I'm not going to name the person's name. They've ran a sacrifice project. I remember listening to an interview with them, I think maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah? Maybe it was 2020, about 2 years ago, yeah? And they had, they were being interviewed, maybe it was after SEC, and they literally said on the interview, they go, I'm here for Richard Hart. And I bet Richard's watching like, yeah, bro. Like, you guys made a lot of money from that sacrifice because of my name. Where is it, by the way? I'm sure he's asking that. So these people say, I'm here for Richard Hart. I like what he stands for. Without him, I'm out. They literally said that. And actually, it's quite scary, friends. It's quite scary to hear something like that because you're looking at one of the weak links. Now, I believe this happened maybe after SEC, so down here, right? There's literally people saying, you know what, if Richard walks away, I walk away. And I'm looking at it like, man, you didn't actually believe shit. You literally, where's free speech? Where's freedom of movement? You just believe in nothing, man. You're like, oh, Richard's here, I'm here. Do you really believe in Richard and his ideas? Or do you believe in the money that he attracts for you? Some people might use the word vulture, parasite, real exploiters, if you will. But I'll let you to decide on that. What if Richard takes a break? Are you going to leave us too? Of course they are. Of course they are, man. Okay? Richard literally farts on his Twitter, you lose your mind. Of course you are. If Richard literally tweets tomorrow on his Twitter, I'm taking a break for 6 months. I know you're all dumping and leaving. Not all, but the weekends are going straight away. Literally straight away. Like, okay, you don't actually believe in crypto. You don't believe in this tech at all. You don't believe in free speech. You don't believe in freedom of movement. You don't actually believe in decentralized exchanges like PulseX. You don't actually believe in it, bro. Okay? Code is law, the nerds say. The code is the law. Very interesting. I want them out of the city, by the way. They probably are out. Maybe they've dumped a lot of their bags. I hope they have. I'm sure Richard wants them out too. I'm sure he's getting them out. I'm sure a lot of them are out. And Richard knows the weak ones will leave. Okay. So this is obviously fascinating, right? And look, this is not a posturing of like people to come out like, I'm the biggest believer. It's not about that, dude. Okay, you understand this game. You understand what's happening with the chain right now. Okay, and I ask you again in a very family-friendly way. Think about the people who sold their Bitcoin after Satoshi left in 2011. What happened to them? They got mogged. They got mogged by all the believers. When those people left, friends, because Satoshi left, gone. By the way, Richard bought the top here with Da Vinci, and then they went down 94%. And this is like the cruelest, funniest part. Because, friends, I used to look at this chart. I'll be a bit envious because I'm like, man, they had it easy. They only had to wait 600 days to get back their money. But your brain, you can't process time properly when you're in the midst of the fear. So like this time, it looks easy, doesn't it? What about if we actually Google the truth, okay? The truth is, look at this, okay? This is the truth. The truth is, you bought the top of something that went down 94% and the founders walked away. Because that's exactly what happened, okay? Down here, the founder walked away. Satoshi, as JP Mosquito, Jamie Dildo calls him, the CEO of JP Mosquito. Satoshi! He's like, oh yeah, I don't believe it's 21 Bitcoin. Satoshi can come back and make some more. That's what he literally said that. Remember, friends, in the snow background CNBC 1 or 2 years ago. Satoshi, I don't believe for a second it's only 21 Bitcoin. Very tough, wasn't it? However, you were handsomely rewarded beyond your wildest imaginations, right? So those people, right, they got mogged by the believers. Friends, and yeah, man, there were people who sold. They're like, oh, well, the dude who made it's gone. Pfft, must be something's wrong. I'm out. They sold them in their bear, got ruined, right? If you believe in crypto, then you should know exactly why you are here. I want you to believe in something. Let's play some PUBG music. What do you actually believe in, man? By the way, I don't know, friends. I know you just seen this logo. You're like, dude, can we just get the price to go up? I know, man. I know. There could be something bigger at play. Okay. By the way, he literally says Richard Hart doesn't use Twitter. Doesn't use Twitter. You know what word is missing from that description of stuff he doesn't use? Blockchain, which would imply he's actually talking through the blockchain. Like he went out of his way to write newspapers, magazines. Interesting. Didn't write blockchain. Very interesting. Still to this day, he's watched this video. He's watched many videos. He still hasn't written the word blockchain. This is a funny poll from Mr. MRC. Which is worse? Richard leaves, Somi leaves. Why is it worse if I leave? It's only 42 votes. I'm wondering. Say, look, remember the Copers and the Soy Boys? I can't be bothered using all the innuendo jokes for them, so they can move aside, bro. For the rest of us here, I think pDAI is Richard Hart's baby. I still think so. I'm allowed to think that. I don't care if I'm wrong. I don't give a shit. I still think it's his baby. I think he wants it to succeed. Okay? I think he wants it to succeed. I think if pDAI succeeds, it solves one of the $1 trillion problems in crypto. Because now you have a native stablecoin for a chain, and one of the first lines of defense for the stablecoin is that people just hold it and they earn a little bit of a yield on it. Okay? And it would be a special economic zone. One that we need. Remember, friends, Bitcoin and Ethereum, they aren't really special economic zones, right? Ethereum is like the last place. However, the North Korean scum hackers, remember they stole the ETH and now they're bridging that out. Okay, so they have Chinese brokers. Basically, they take like a 10% fee to help launder the money slowly over like next 1 or 2 years to get that $1 billion plus out. But we're running out. You can tell we're running out with Ethereum and stuff like that. So if this pDAI island of PulseChain, if it does work out, it really is free speech, isn't it? It really is. It would be a decentralized stablecoin. They can't turn off. Yeah. That would be fascinating because if, and I don't know if it's going to happen, I'm just saying, if the core coins back the collateral to mint the pDAI at $1, if, I don't know, but if it happens, guess what? Government can't shut down Inc. Government can't shut down Hex. Government can't shut down PulseChain. Can't shut them down. You know, with eDAI, friends, estrogen dye, the collateral that backs it, 60%, I think, 40 to 60% is CUC USD, which is USDC. Circles USDC. So it's a CBDC pretty much light. They can, if they really wanted to, they disable it. The collateral for eDAI is literally wrecked. Poof, goodbye. There isn't enough for everybody to withdraw out. So I'm sure Richard's looked at that. I'm sure he knows what to do. I don't know how the story's going to play out, okay? I just find that fascinating that we've been able to go through this. That's why I named this, friends. O ye of little faith. Look, man, I know it's hard, friends. The thing is, like, I've told you 1,000 times. I could not give one flying truck how many people stop listening, disagree, leave, unsubscribe. I literally couldn't care. I don't give a literal freaking damn, okay? The crowd is wrong. The crowd is poor. The crowd follow each other. The crowd buy the tops. The crowd sell the bottoms. The crowd have to adopt other people's convictions, okay? I know all of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I cannot conclude, hey, crowd, I am now going to follow you in every single thing. I'm not going to conclude that. I'll never conclude that. You get me? You do get me. So hopefully this PulseChain narrative does continue in a very family-friendly way. It's going to have its twists and its turns, probability shift. Richard put a question mark here. He put a dot here. Oh, he farted on camera. You know what I mean? It's going to have probably all that. As already is happening, all that, okay? But all I know is if you really believe, no matter what happens, if it turns out to play the whole journey, you win. That's it. If doubt crosses your mind, just like the early Satoshi doubters, the early Bitcoin halving doubters, the people who thought that there was going to be a Bitcoin mining spiral, the people who thought Bitcoin was going to be shut down by the government and banned by the government, all those big giant FUD events of Bitcoin, you know, even still happens to this day. So if you let yourself get consumed by them enough to click sell, okay, you know, Bitcoin could have gone to zero, friends. It could have gone to zero. I mean, had 2 inflation bugs. Learned that off Richard Hart, right? Could have gone to zero, but it didn't. Okay, it didn't. It's binary. So it's basically, okay, there's a point in time in the next 24 months, you know, PulseChain or pDAI, whatever you're looking at, okay, it's either 0 or it's at the friendship level. Okay, if it's at 0, okay, we lose. If it's at the friendship level, who made it? Those with faith. Like, subscribe, Billy Button, or catch you soon.